Welcome to Sakshi TV special immigration show with lawyers Srinivas Kaveti from KavetiLawFirm.com. Please note that Sakshi TV now has 4 immigration shows every week. At Tuesdays at 5:30 p.m. EST with lawyer Srinivas, on Wednesdays at 5:30 p.m. EST with attorney Prashanti Reddy, and on Thursdays at 5:30 p.m. EST with attorney Chan Parvatneni, and on Fridays at 5:30 p.m. EST with Banu and Indra. Please tune in to ask your questions. If you are an immigration attorney and would like to join our special shows, please email us at usa@sakshi.com or send us your numbers on 8667257441. Before we begin the show, please note that the information provided on this show is not a legal advice and for general informational purposes only. Sakshi TV or its agents will not be responsible for any use of information. So now let's get on to Mr. Kaveti's law firm. So his law firm is located in New York City and is an international law firm with global footprint operating through their offices in Australia, Asia, Europe, and North America. They help individuals and companies deal with their legal matters. Their innovative approach to legal representation has made them the number one choice for their clients. So without any further delay, let's welcome the lawyer itself, Mr. Srinivas Kaveti. Hello, Mr. Srinivas. I hope you're doing well. How are you? And welcome back to our show again.
Hi, Shubhani. It's been a great day. It's lots sunny today in New York City. Yeah, and
Hello.
we had a lot of Tata, shows in New Jersey for 4 days. A lot of celebrities from India came, and a lot of people attended. Very busy 4 days.
Yes. Thank you so much, Mr. Srinivas, for tuning in even after having a hectic schedule for yourself. So, Mr. Srinivas, let's get on to our topic. Today, we decided that we will discuss a little about P3 visa. So, can you tell our viewers what exactly is a P3 visa?
Interesting topic, Shivani. P3 visa is basically an artist visa. Somebody wants to come to America to perform in dancing or music or any of the shows, even circus or any joke comedies or mimicry and stuff like that. There should be a company which is willing to sponsor in America, and this will be INS will approve the petition I-129, and the P3 will be granted for 3 months. They have to satisfy the consulate that they're real artists, and there'll be a contract between the organization which is sponsoring in America, and they should be paid, and there should be a contract, they should be paid. And number 3, and there shall be an insurance. That's very, very important. When these artists are coming to America to perform shows, the location where they're performing has to have an insurance cover. It's called public liability insurance. That's very important, because tomorrow if anything happens at the venue, and if there's any fire or any sort of an accident, who's responsible? So these organizing companies who invite them, they have to have an insurance cover. And these guys, when they go to the embassy, they'll be given 3 months of visa, which is like a 3 months of work permit. And once they come here, if you're coming for the first time, then that means you can apply for a social security number. And that is the beauty of P3. And you can also have a medical insurance for 3 months. You can also have a payroll deduction, because the law says in America that if you're making more than $500, you're liable to pay taxes. So I'm sure every artist, they charge more than $500 for each show. So they get paid more than $500, they have to pay the tax. And that'll be deducted by the employer. And the other beauty with P3 is that'll be valid for 3 months. And if they want to extend, P3 visa, they can extend the status. If they want to change the status also, they can change. And, this will be only granted for 3 months. And sometime they want to extend, they can extend if they go back. But they'll be given another, if they want to come back again for a new show, the P3 is given again. So the beauty is, these are artist visas for movie actors, dancers, musicians, circus guys, magicians, mimicry guys. They'll be given that. It takes about 3 to 4 months time for a processing time. And the beauty is, and they can also change the status if they want to stay permanently in America. And we have done a lot of change of status from P3 visas. That's P3.
Yes. Yes, Mr. Srinivas. So, Mr. Srinivas, what exactly is the eligibility for the P3 visa? Like, let's just say that somebody is a freelancer and they don't really have a certificate from a dance company if he or she is a dancer. So, what exactly is the eligibility for the P3 visa?
Good question. You don't have to have a certificate from any school saying that you're a dancer or a movie actor or anything. They will look at your basically a profile. The way it works is because these companies they're inviting foreign artists to America. So that means you're competing, you're taking away the job of local artists. So that means the American companies which are sponsoring, they have to go to the artist guild. What is the meaning of artist guild? The association of artists. They have to get a certification saying that if somebody is coming to play, let's say, Telugu music or a Hindi music, they're not taking away the job of a local American artist. So they're coming to play an ethnic music. So the American companies, they have to go to the artist guild. They have to make an application, pay the fees, and the local artist guild, which is association of artists, because artists are all as a trade union in this country. Just like in Hyderabad, there are unions for the artists. Like Ma, it's an artist association. Similar to that, there are artist associations in America. Every state has its own artist association or union, and they control artists. Say how much they should get paid and what are the terms and conditions, stuff like that. So once these guys gives permission, that means they're saying they will certify. They're saying they're not coming and taking away the job of local guys. So they come and once the certification is done, application is made to the immigration. If the criteria is, first of all, it should be bona fide. It is not that just to bring people you to a P3. You have to have, schedule of shows. And the organizing company, which is in US, they have to show how many shows they're doing. That's the first criteria. Second is they have to have a contract with the artists. And number three, the artists in India, they could be scattered. They don't have to have an artist company. See, if you see America, a lot of these drama companies in Maharashtra also and Karnataka, there are artist companies, drama companies used to call back home. Similar to that, I mean, you don't have to be in the drama company or artist company, but you have to show that you're an artist, By how do you do that? By showing the pictures or by showing any newspaper cuttings or showing some photographs or videos and citations that you've been, working in such and such movie, maybe some clippings of those movies, or maybe some drama companies, or maybe some newspaper cuttings, stuff like that. You don't have to have a certification per se. That means you don't have to have a certificate from a acting school, or you don't have to have a certificate from a music school. You have to show that you're an artist. Sometimes your membership in MA can also help you. That's saying that you're an artist member. Things like that. And the problem is many times in the past there were some scams. That's the reason immigration wants to. Many times they want to interview. What does it mean? They will call in the embassy. In the embassy, they are called individually and they're interviewed. And when they see, they will also do some research, whether you're a real artist or you're just coming to take use of this P3 visa and come and stay back. So things like that. I mean, there's no per se education qualification. If you have qualification, which is good. If you don't have qualification, if you only just have a skill also, you can come. That is the beauty of P3.
Yes, Mr. Srinivas. Mr. Srinivas, another doubt I had is, let's just say that a singer has a concert, has a worldwide tour, or let's just say an American tour, and the tour is longer than 4 months or 3 months. So you just said that the whole P3 visa is valid for 3 months. What will happen if they have to extend for 1 more month or 2 more months? Can you please explain us the process, or is that even possible?
Absolutely, it's possible. We have done it from our firm. Sometimes what happens when they come to perform shows here, there might be other artist organizations or other, because, they see is in every country, they have their own country associations. Like in America, for Telugu guys, they have Tana, Arta, now this Tata, there's so many organizations. When these guys come to perform, there could be other organizations they might want to. Now these days, there's a Reddy Sangam, there's a Velma Sangam, there's a Padmashali Sangam, there is a Vaishnav Sangam, Vishnu Sangam. There's so many sanghas, and they want to have some show. So they might approach these artists and they say, "Hey, can you work for us?" So there's new organizations to make an application saying, "Can we extend their stay? We want to hire these guys." So normally you can do a premium processing. Within 15 days, you can get an approval. They can extend the stay 1 month to 3 months, no problem. But once it is extended, they have to go back. But sometimes what happens, people want to stay back. They want to go for education. Sometimes you might want to apply for a green card. Sometimes you want to get married. Sometimes your family siblings are there or your family members are there, You could extend your stay, no problem. There's a process.
Yes.
As long as you approach a competent immigration lawyer and they can make an application. But you have to document. It's not that just to extend your doing. You have to document yourself. Sometimes immigration also requests for more evidences. They might do an audit, which it's doable, but it can be extended. Yes.
Yes. So, Mr. Srinivas Garu, I was hoping you can talk a little bit about the dependence of the P3 visa. So, let's just say that the performer is a minor, and what kind of people can, how many people, or like what kind of major people can accompany them, and what is exactly the dependence that happens?
Excellent question you asked me, Yes, you're right. There are some minor children also becomes artists and they also make money. Their dependents can also come, accompany them. They have to be legal guardians. They can't have anybody else coming in. The embassy will look at them and they approve the visa, but you have to be with them only, the minors. They can accompany them, but they cannot get paid. Most of the times what happens, the minors, when they make money, the agreements are entered on behalf of them by the guardians, legal guardians. So when they get paid, and the minors can also get a social security number. And if you see America, a lot of rich musicians are there who are minors. If you see Tracy Chapman, there were so many minors. Even if you see Michael Jackson, he was a minor when he became an artist. So they were making millions of dollars. So they do have to pay taxes too, but they fall in a different bracket. But in terms of immigration, yes, the parents or the legal guardians, it can be anybody. Brothers, it can be sisters, parents, or it can be anybody. Sometimes even the managers, they come. There are managers for minors, and they also take visas and then come and accompany them as guardians. So they will have the same duration of visa as the main primary P3 holders are. Yeah, and they will have the same rights and liabilities like the principal P3 holder.
Yes. So, Mr. Srinivas Garu, another common question I feel like they have is, can they travel during the P3 visa? And also, are there any specific restrictions when somebody is on P3 visa?
They can get a driver's license. They can travel. They cannot open up a business. They cannot work for anybody else except this artist work. In the future, if they want to change their status, if they want to stay, if they want to travel, sometimes artists, they come, they are busy 3-4 months, they travel with their troupe, they make money. But if they're coming for the first time, they want to maybe travel, they want to see the country. Let's say during this time, it's a summertime, people come and do tourism. So from P3 visa, they can change their status, and they can also get a B2 visa, which is a tourist visa. And the condition subsequent is, once your visa is done, once you're before the expiration of your authorized stay, you have to leave the country. Sometimes what happens, these artists, they're very famous people. When they're performing, people fall in love with them. They also get married. We have a lot of clients when they're performing. A lot of women, men, they fall in love and they get married too. So they can also apply for a green card from P3 visa. No restrictions. Like J1, there's a restriction, but not P3 visas. Sometimes people fall in love with the country. They say they want to go to school. Let's say somebody comes to do a music and they want to go and learn some Western music. They go to music schools and they get admissions. From P3, they can get an I-20 and they can get change of status from P3 to an F1 visa. But they have to show that they have sufficient money. So things like that. And sometimes people want to go to school, they can get an F1. Sometimes people want to extend their stay, go around, look around, they can get a visitor visa, B2 visa. And some people, they want to extend their stay on the same P3, they can also extend that. Sometimes they get married, they can get a green card also. So there's no restrictions for P3. You can, as long as you make an application within the stipulated period of time and you comply the law and there's certain eligibility requirements, you do that, you can stay in the country lawfully. That's a beauty. In the past, we have done a lot of P3 visas change to student visas. We have done a lot of people, they wanted to, sometimes they join big bands and they stay for 1 year. So they get a visa, a J1 visa. They can also do that too. So different visas can be done. And there are some artists, there are very famous artists. They're well known internationally, acclaimed, just like A.R. Rahman. You wanted to stay, you apply for extraordinary ability, you can get a green card. In matter of fact, we have done one a green card for a lady. She was a director. She had some Nandi awards, and we made an application within 3 months. She had a green card. Now she's taking out some movies in California. So people do it all the time under the extraordinary ability. As long as you comply the law in this country, that is beauty. You can stay.
Yes. Mr. Srinivas, can one change their employers when they are having a P3 visa? I'm sure, once you get into USA, I'm pretty sure they get many different opportunities, and I'm also sure that they would want to change. So is this possible? What are some restrictions or complications one can have?
Well, there's no restriction. The only thing, it has to be bona fide. You cannot just use this P3 visa, come and stay in the country. It has to be bona fide. Number one. Number two, you cannot change any status within 60 days. You have to still wait for 90 days. So that is a challenge. You still have to continuously live. That means you're in a P3 visa, you have to get paid. That's a key. You have to be in the payroll. You have to get paid. Whatever the company which has promised you to bring in, you have to get paid. And if you're not getting paid, you're not doing the shows, you just came and you want to abuse the system, you cannot change the status. You will become out of status. So as long as you comply the law, and then people always have change in their plans. When I visited America 21 years ago, I came on a visit. When I liked it, I wanted to go to school, so I went to law school. So people's life and people's plans change, and they change their immigration status. As long as you go through the lawyers, as long as you go through the system, pay the fees, show the documentation, you can stay legally. You can change your status. Yes, you can change. As I said to you, the challenges are you have to maintain the status. You can't come to America on a P3 and start committing crimes, or you cannot go and depend on the government. You cannot go to the hospital and then become a dependent and get some surgeries done, cost hundreds and thousands of dollars. That means you become a public charge. You cannot have some sexually transmitted diseases coming to America. So there are certain things you cannot be, involved in a crime, things like that. There are certain restrictions. If you're complying the law, if you're doing everything by law, I don't see a problem.
Yes. Mr. Srinivas Garu, another question is, how can they start that green card processing if one wants to start it?
Good question. If they have extraordinary ability, as I said to you that somebody who has national acclaim and international acclaim. Let's say if Mr. A. Rahman wants to stay. Zakir Hussain came and stayed in the country, Like that, there's so many artists that come to America, they perform and they like it, and they want to apply. And you can go through an attorney and you apply for an extraordinary ability green card. And sometimes within 3 to 4 months' time, looking at, if you're a Grammy Award winner or if you're a Bollywood winner, big time music winners are there. So they apply and they get a green card in 3 4 months' time. So that's called change of status. And you apply under the extraordinary ability and national interest waiver that you're starting something big in America. Some people, they come and they do music therapy. They play music and cure diseases. New area. So if they can prove that it's in the national interest, they can apply and they get green cards. Yes.
Yes. Mr. Srinivas, like you told us that you worked so many years in this law firm and you've pretty much dealt with so many different cases. Let's say, what is like the percentage of Indian people that comes to USA on P3 visa? And can you tell us how smooth or how hard is it for, let's just say somebody is applying and they wants to know. So can you explain a little about how smooth it is in USA for P3 visa?
I cannot say that, people coming from India or non-India, because we have done some P3 visas for Africans, Bangladeshis, Pakistanis. People from all over the world, they come to perform music here. Even, people from Caribbean islands, people from different parts of the Australians, they come, a lot of people come from all over the world. Even Scottish people will come, Irish people will come to play their music, and the different arts, they come to perform. It's nothing, because India is more popular in destination of Bollywood. So even Americans know that, because after Hollywood is Bollywood. So when they come, their hardships are, the first thing they'll see whether it's a bona fide artist, or these artists have they done any real shows, or just a paper guys. Sometimes there are paper artists, they're not real artists. Like in the past, if you see, there was a Sardarji. He was a musician. He used to bring people from Punjab. Punjab. Daler Mehendi. Daler Mehendi was caught. He was doing. He was bringing people from Punjab. Hundreds of people he used to charge lakhs of rupees, bring them over here, and dump them here. And he was caught. Daler Mehendi was caught. So they would like to see if there are any things like that. In the past, our South Indian actors and actresses, they brought people and they were subjected to investigation. Like if you see Jayaprada, she brought some people into the country, and she was taken to the secondary inspection. And cinema actor Suman brought some people. So, in the past, Balakrishna also brought some people. So these artists, the musicians, these movie actors, they do bring people. Sometimes they dump them here and go away. So when they see things like that, they will stop. But otherwise, if you're a bona fide musician or an artist, you perform and you leave, they see your travel history as well. They will see with whom you're going. So they will see where are your shows are, and they will see the sponsoring company, the company which is sponsoring from US. They would like to see those backgrounds. In the past, we had some clients from Bangladeshi, and it's a big company, but they didn't have no track record. We made a petition. The petition was denied. They said this company doesn't have any track record. So the artists were very popular artists from Bangladesh, and they were not looking at the artists. They were top popular artist singers, but the company which was sponsoring didn't have track record, so they refused. Sometimes the people who have a good track record, in India or any other country, and if they have some legal issues, they brought some people and left them here. So it comes up in the system. So when things like that, then it's difficult. But otherwise, it should not be difficult. But the other problem, what I see, when the sponsoring companies here, they apply for 10 visas, 10 visas get approved by the immigration. But when they go to the embassy, only 2 or 3 people get approved. The main guys, not all the musicians. So things like these are the challenges. The other thing is, I would always recommend, when they come first time, they must go. Next time, it will be easy for them. But most of the times, when they come and overstay, that is a problem. So that one must keep that in mind. when they were being given visa for 3 months, perform the shows and go back. Next time things become easy.
Yes.
That's what it
Fine.
is.
Yes. Finally, Mr. Srinivas Garu, can you tell the viewers how exactly will your law firm, Kaveti Law Firm, help people, especially with the P3?
The first and foremost thing is many times there are some artists associations in this country. If it is a non-profit, it's best. And having a track record, some sort of a website, and you should have meetings, and you should have, of course, any shows, some insurance policies, and the person who is sponsoring here, if they're citizens, that is better. And they would like to see where you're putting these artists coming from India. Do you have money in your bank accounts? Did you book the hotels? Do you have an insurance policy? Do you have the contracts in place with the artists? And the other thing one must understand, for example, if you're working for a company, let's say 10 artists work for one guy in India. So they should have a watertight contracts in India between the artist and the manager, the company which is sponsoring. These are the issues. And the other artists which they should have a portfolio. Many times when I ask them, do you have a portfolio? They ask me a question, answer. What is portfolio? Portfolio means bunch of your pictures, what you've done, your resume. Do you have any video clippings? Do you have any real clippings? Things like that, photographs, newspaper cuttings, magazine cuttings, anything. That's a portfolio. One should have a portfolio. That's
Yes.
important for artists. And two,
Yes.
and when you go into the embassy, you should be prepared, where you're going, which city you're going, how many hours you perform. Are you a musician? Are you singing? Are you dancing? What? So you got to get yourself prepared. That's another thing I prepare from US, all these artists.
Yes.
So we
Yes.
work with both sides. That's what our firm helps.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Srinivas Garu, for coming on to our show again. It was wonderful having you as usual. Thank you for the viewers for tuning in. You're watching Sakshi TV with me, Shivani Raj.